What's going on, everybody? Anthony Campo here, your coach and host of the Be Battle Ready podcast. And today I want to know, are you battle ready in finding your flow state? The question is, what does it take to build a battle ready business? What does it take to dial in your marketing, sales, fulfillment, and leadership so that you can go to war in the marketplace and win? My name is Anthony Campo, your host and chief coach at Battle Ready Business. This is the Be Battle Ready podcast, Daily Battle Edition. And on a daily basis, we're going to take a deep dive look at what it takes to win in the marketplace. So sit back, relax, and I'll see you on the other side. All right. So I just did an interview for an upcoming podcast, for this podcast, one of our interview specials. And this was about ayahuasca. And this particular person, his name is Zach, he organizes retreats and takes people down, educates them all about it. And it basically came down to, this one way, one of the benefits that you get out of this is finding your flow state after you get out of it. And, this is not me saying, hey, I'm fully endorsing this. I mean, if it's for you, I support you all the way. Right. I have nothing against it. Nope. No judgment around, if you do or do not do it. If it's for you, it's great. But we were correlating, like people get into, you might have experienced this if you've gone to a seminar, right? You get in, you get hype or jacked, you get in touch with yourself and you come out and you're like on fire, right? You feel like you're just so connected with, what you want, how you feel, and, where you're going, and you're like, just connecting with people. You're more apt to reach out to people and connect people on the street. I know all about this from going to different seminars, being a different part of them programs. And I've connected to this, throughout my life. And I've noticed this in senses of, especially after you've had an argument with somebody, or you confess to wronging somebody and you had this deep conversation, right? Because we spend so much of our time in our head, right? And, for me, there's times I had this story about going to a Zen Buddhist camp during college, part of a retreat we had. And we ended up, having to get up, meditate. We only ate a vegan diet for the whole weekend. We had no technology, nothing. So we'd get up at 5, meditate, hang out all day. We can go on hikes and all this other stuff up in the mountains in California. And then at night we'd meditate. And then we had this full group, it was almost like this emotional, getting in touch with things that have happened and bringing those to the surface and stuff. And I have to tell you, when I left there, it was like I had never been at a higher moment up until that point. And not no drugs, nothing, but it was like I felt lighter. I felt I was moving faster. I was like, I need to keep this up, right? And I was like, I thought at that time, I tried to meditate. There was no apps. This was back in probably 05, 06, no meditation apps. I tried to sit in my room and meditate, and I would just get so anxious because my mind would take over. And, but for a few days, maybe a week, I was I could feel what I felt at a deeper level for somebody else. I could feel what I was truly feeling. I was more apt to express how I was feeling, what I had to say. I didn't think about what I was going to, I wasn't filtering what I was saying. I was showing up as me, right? I was showing up authentic. And, it's something that I thought, I was like, oh, this is for whack jobs and this is crazy and all this other stuff. And then, a few years later, I got into my gym and I would bounce between these times I would get super inspired and connected, and I would start making decisions and moving forward and making some moves. And then things would happen and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is great. And then I would try, my brain would take over. Well, if we do this, this, and that, we can expand upon it. We can blow it up exponentially. And it was this back and forth, right? And if I would have to choose a state, I would choose being in flow, being in that place over anything. And I share this with you because, of how beneficial I've felt it to be, right? And I have to admit, my July was almost a full month of flow state. It was great, right? And then, get a victory. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And then your head takes over. And I want to share this with you because if you're if you're feeling like, hey, I'm crazy to do this, the more I go along and talk to, professionals and all this other stuff, I'm finding that they are understanding that, they are utilizing that flow state of really leading with that heart, leading with getting out of your head and getting into your heart and leading from that place. So I just want to let you know, you're not crazy. You're not a whack job. You're not like this, whatever. I mean, there might be people who think you are, but there's a lot of other people out there. You're not alone. And the other reason I want to share this with you is, from what I found to the difference between the two states. Okay. So, and what drives me into one and what pulls me out of that? What drives me and puts me in that flow state and what takes me out of that flow state, right? And gets me into this, very cerebral state, okay? And, one of the things that I found, number one, is finding something at some point where you're either finding something where you just need to own, right? And just like I'm talking to you and say, hey, I fucked it up. I had it for 4 weeks and I fucked it up. That in itself is a step towards that direction. But there's those things inside your life. Throw yourself under the bus whenever, when you can, not in an abusive manner, but just say, hey, this is it. Because it is a part of that process. It is a part of just telling your mind and your ego to shut the fuck up, right? And just get back into your place. The other part of this is really finding something that scares you a little bit in that day. That was that it kind of goes along with they kind of compound each other. But it might be something. It might be a call you've been meaning to make. It might be a declaration you're meaning to do. It might be something that, something that just scares you just a little bit. You don't want to go do it, but you should, right? It would be that. And, the other side of that is, what are you resisting? If you're resisting something, that is another way that you can just say, hey, no, this is what we're going to do. And the other side of this is your habits, right? The things that you do on a daily basis personally. If it's meditation, journaling, working out, I think all these, for me, my belief is they all go together. The meditation and yoga practices give this calm sense, right? This calming sense. But there's a beauty that when I worked out and trained, doing CrossFit style workouts with some strength and Olympic lifting, the times that you go under, and it comes back to having some fear or fighting through something. When you're trying to lift a heavy weight you don't know you're going to lift, or do something, push yourself into a pain threshold that that you don't know if you're going to do it. This is a part of that too. Man, I used to feel like I mini retreat on a micro dose of it. And it's about putting your ego and mind and your body into submission to that. So, training is one of them, and doing training when you don't want to do training, right? I just started a new book, and David Goggins, the Can't Hurt Me, he talks a lot about this and it's how he got himself out of it. It's how he did something. He got addicted to the suffering a little bit, the little pain of going out and running when it was raining. Like his mind said, go out and run, right? And there is that little bit of that small little voice within that we need to listen to, and that's about that flow state. So those are just a few things to help you get into that flow state. So I want to know, like, what has been your experience of being in a flow state? If you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, then just say, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't been there. So I hope that helps. And, I hope you have an amazing day. This concludes another episode of the Be Battle Ready Podcast, Daily Battle Edition. If you're a business owner with 3 to 20 people and you want to build a battle ready business so that you can go to war in the marketplace and win, head over to battlereadybusiness.com/go to get the conversation started. Other than that, I'll see you next time.